The Stock of the Day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. With over 17,000 markets and extended trading hours, turn US earnings season volatility into opportunity. Get started at IG.com.
Stock of the day is the coal miner New Hope. It says it expects lower volumes out of its new Acland mine, saying this reflects logistics disruptions on its rail network. However, has reaffirmed guidance for its New South Wales Bengalla mine. In the quarter to the end of April, the company increased production by 1%, while sales increased 3% from the previous period. And overall, in terms of the share price, we'll get to that, but not well received by the market in terms of that quarterly update. In fact, we've got a couple of coal stocks to consider today, so I'm going to be interested to see where New Hope fits into the picture. Mathan, let's start with you then.
I have to say, credit, it's one where it was probably not our wheelhouse, but Gaurav's always been a big fan when things got pretty messy, and I've always kept it in my radar, and it's actually in our models, and it's come off a bit, but you know, we've got so much dividends out of it over the last year and a half, it doesn't really matter too much. It's a defensive yield play, you're not there for the growth. New supply is not coming, so it's a matter of, as Gaurav put it, and I'm going to steal his words, it's the least complex operation out there. So they just churn it out, and do they have operational issues? Every mining stock, when they report, anyone holding that stock will be, drinking some water because it's going to be choppy, right? But overall, I think it's one of the better players. It's the least complex, and I think the demand for coal in an environment, slowing global growth environment, is going to remain relatively solid. And this is not your steel production play, this is just energy demands, right? And that's going to remain relatively well supported, and any kind of energy shock, which I think right now energy prices overall are pricing in almost a recession. So the market is at all-time high, but energy prices are pricing in a recession. So one of them is wrong. You assume somewhere in the middle, energy should do better. So I think it's a buying opportunity. I think it pays you a very good yield while you wait. Obviously, if you're ESG concerned, then you're not going to buy this stock. And those people are out a long time ago. I think if you're looking at returns, you want defensive yield plays, this is one of them for me.
Great.
Yes, this is a standout buy for me too. The update today, the market's fallen a long way, but the actual operational update was very good. They're producing buoyant levels of coal, both in Bengalla, which is their original asset in New South Wales, and New Acland, a new developing asset in Queensland. But in New Acland, they had some rail difficulties. So even though they've got good mine production, the rail networks in Queensland are a bit clogged at the moment, and they couldn't get the coal to the port for export. So the sales volumes have fallen. Now that's a short-term issue that we sorted out, and I'm surprised it's worth a 7% fall in the share price, but I'll take it. This is a standout buy. They're holding 20% of their market cap in cash. They're paying double-digit dividends at current prices, and current prices have most coal miners around the world cutting production and sitting on losses. And these guys are still paying a double-digit dividend. Like, I don't know what more you want from your stocks. I'd be happy to sit there and collect double-digit dividends. If this thing never rose again, you'd still get perfectly adequate returns from here, just from collecting the dividends. So, yeah, it's a strong buy for me.
So why is it down 7%?
Don't know. Good question. Ask someone who's selling it. I don't know.
Yeah, my guess is the people who like the stock are already there.
Yeah.
So you only need a few people exiting on momentum, and the quant funds and all of those guys will have to naturally sell in a downgrade. So you get a weak result, they have to sell some. If there's no buyers, and these are the kind of stocks where you don't get buyers at scale, so they'll take it down.
It's also a low liquidity stock.
Yeah.
A lot of insider ownership on this. A couple of big funds own some of it as well. So once you get a low liquidity stock and a piece of bad news, the marginal seller has a big impact on the price. And I think that's all that's happened here today.
Yeah, so like, for example, today we've had so far about just short of 4 million turnover in number of shares, and that's pretty much the highest level, daily level for nearly a month and a half. So you just get a bit of selling. This is not a stock where you get a lot of buying, so the stock will fall quite quickly.
Yeah.
And they also tend to bounce back pretty quickly. They just, I think recently went ex-div, so if you're an investor, you're sitting there going, well, I can wait for the next dividend cycle to buy into it, so you're not in a hurry. So that's why you get this volatility in these kind of stocks. We are on a the other thing about it is because it's a yield play, bond yields had a big bounce over the weekend.
Yeah.
So all those yield-related stocks are underperforming.
That is the double buy then for our stock of the day, New Hope.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Turn volatility into opportunity this US earnings season with extended trading hours on over 110 key US shares. Get started at IG.com.